Welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. During the 2016 election, Donald Trump exposed Hillary Clinton's swampy corruption for the world to see, asking why a Secretary of State who's following the law would need her own email server, pointing out classified information that was clearly intentionally mishandled on that illegal server, a crime James Comey let Clinton off the hook for after Obama's Justice Department refused to bring in a special counsel. There were other obvious signs of corruption as well, though. The Clinton Foundation has always been a useful tool for influence peddling. You didn't think Biden was the only one doing this, did you? The Clinton Foundation runs completely dry when Hillary and Bill are nowhere near power, but money pours in when Hillary is relevant, and it dumped in when she ran for president. It's strange how the world becomes so philanthropic whenever Hillary Clinton has political clout. Bizarre, right? One of the most famous foundation scandals was called Uranium One, where Hillary's foundation took millions of dollars from the Russians, allegedly in exchange for her State Department signing off on a deal where Russia would control 1/5 of American uranium production. As the New York Times put it in 2015, as the Russians gradually assumed control of Uranium One in 3 separate transactions from 2009 to 2013, Canadian records show a flow of cash made its way to the Clinton Foundation. It was more than $2 million. And think about all the hype over Donald Trump and Russia over the last several years. Seeing all of this, way back in 2016, candidate Trump said this during debate number 2 in the fall of 2016.
I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it, and I hate to say it, but if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception.
The media gasped at that moment, not because Hillary intentionally risked our national security by putting classified information on private servers that even Anthony Weiner managed to get, not because Hillary allegedly sold out our national security to the Russians. They gasped because Donald Trump actually threatened to imprison a D.C. establishment elite. It was unimaginable. If Donald Trump is elected, he would weaponize the Justice Department against Hillary Clinton. What a despicable tyrant Trump would be if he actually got into the White House. In retrospect, CNN's headline was priceless. Reading it from today's standpoint, Trump threatened to jail Clinton if elected. These countries might do the same. The article names off nations like Zimbabwe, North Korea, Venezuela, Iran. Liberal Twitter erupted. David Frum of The Atlantic tweeted out, "Who would consent to serve as Attorney General to a president who believed he could direct prosecutions of his political opponents?" Obama's self-proclaimed wingman, Attorney General Eric Holder: "In the USA, we do not threaten to jail political opponents. Donald Trump said he would. He is promising to abuse the power of the office." It's honestly hard to read these without laughing after what we've seen over the past several months in this country. The irony is, in the end, Trump, the evil dictator that he was, never actually acted on any of the threats towards Hillary Clinton. That might have been a big mistake. And the people who represent the integrity of Washington, the ones who claim they're in a battle for the soul of this nation, are feverishly working to commit an even more egregious act than the one that they gasped at from Donald Trump 7 years ago. Working to throw a former president in prison for the rest of his life for crimes that are otherwise ignored when committed by Washington's political elite.
It's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or a communist nation. Charging a former president of the United States under the Espionage Act of 1917 wasn't meant for this. An act for a crime so heinous that only the death penalty would do, and threatening me with 400 years in prison for possessing my own presidential papers.
Same people that thought it was so outrageous to threaten to put a former Secretary of State in jail when she obviously committed some pretty serious crimes. Even the FBI admitted that and got caught spinning it so she wouldn't go to jail. Those same people have no problem with this. No amount of spin will change what Trump just said there. The fact that it is a parody to compare Trump's actions to actual espionage, which is what's happening right now. It's ridiculous, and everyone can see it. Espionage for this? Hillary Clinton, who in a functioning justice system acted in ways that would elicit a sweeping criminal investigation, is now gloating about Trump's indictment publicly. She's having the time of her life. Check out Little Miss Hammer Bleach bit earlier this week.
Secretary Clinton, on Thursday, the Department of Justice indicted former President Donald Trump.
Kidding.
I know.
I think the best reaction publicly is, let's see it unfold and see what happens, right?
We have a shirt for you, and says, just in case you want, it says "totally impartial potential juror." And we thought.
By the way, the podcast is called Crooked. That's the name of the podcast even before Hillary came on. Just interesting, I thought. It is nice to be the queen, of course. When Hillary was facing more serious allegations, FBI attorney Lisa Page, you remember her, Peter Strzok's girlfriend? She testified that the DOJ told her not to recommend charges against Hillary Clinton. That's the way it works for them. So when Clinton arrogantly laughs at Trump facing life in prison, she's doing so knowing she was protected from far worse allegations by a very corrupt system. And she loves that. That's her little world. That's all their little world down there. That's the D.C. bubble Trump threatens. That's why they're so angry. That's why they have to destroy him. And while Hillary laughs, the media continues to brainwash the masses by covering the Biden administration's audacity to do this, covering up for it. From the New York Times, if Trump can be above the law in a case of this kind, then we will have lost the rule of law. It is the gaslight of the century. And look at the headline, "Lock him up." They love that. The goons over at MSNBC have resorted to comparing former President Trump to Reality Winner, a young woman who worked for the NSA and was arrested for leaking information about Russia hacking our elections to the media. Watch this stretch.
Reality Winner was a 28-year-old security contractor who wanted to basically alert journalists to the fact that Russia had indeed criminally meddled in the 2016 election. She printed out one document and she mailed it to an outlet. The FBI showed up at her house and she was detained for every day after they came to that house until she got out of prison for 4 years. No one should be under any illusion that this guy is being treated differently and better because he is the ex-president and has been throughout this process and all of these processes.
And the whole defense, they're like, oh, everybody does this, and he's the only one who's getting in trouble for it. No.
No. Well, yeah, is really what this is. They're so desperate, they can't compare Trump to Biden and Hillary. They can't make that comparison. They know that they can't. They can't do that. So that's MSNBC's entire evening lineup right there. That's all of them in the same room. But they know they can't make the obvious comparison. They can't compare Trump to Biden and Hillary because they know that it will tank their entire argument. So they have to dig way down and compare him to Reality Winner to create the illusion that this prosecution is not outrageous. They have to compare him to some woman who worked for the NSA that just ripped a classified document and sent it to the media because it benefited her political ideology, which is what it really was. She was trying to help prove the Russia collusion narrative, the Russia stole the 2016 election narrative, and that's what she did. And she got thrown in jail. She did. But again, they got to compare Trump to that so that it looks right that Trump could be going to jail for the rest of his life. They can't compare it to the fact that, Biden, even Bill, Hillary, all of these Washington elites face nothing when they do the same and actually worse. In truth, we should all be worried about what this regime is capable of. Obama's third term, which is what this is not messing around. They want to leave us with a radically different country, and they are showing that they're capable of doing almost anything to get that job done.